This is a review for pre-calculus on-ramps, and students get multiple attempts, and the questions will be different each attempt. So I'm doing this attempt, and the same kind of questions will be in the other attempt, so students can use this to see how to do each type of question to try to help them. So this is the first question, and I don't like to do it here. Some of it I'll have to do partially on this PDF, and for some reason I like to print the screen. Let me make sure that this is working, and then I'll go here. So this says the cosine of arcsine of 1/4 equals a over b. I'm trying to give myself more room. So I have to remember this, number one. Arcsine has range like that. So, and here it's negative, and here it's positive. So when sine is 1/4, that's in the first quadrant. That's going to be here. Cosine, cosine, or arc cosine is here and here, but between these two, where is cosine positive? Up here too. So the cosine will be positive. I know that if it had been down here, if this had been negative, then cosine would be negative. That's all I have to worry about with sine. I don't have to do anything else with sine. Two ways I can do this one, I guess. I'm going to do, I think, the first 10 problems in this video. The first thing I have to, or one way I can do this is remember that sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. I can do it like that. So the sine is 1/4, so 1/4 squared plus cosine squared, I'll call x squared, equals 1. 1/4 squared is 1 over 16 plus x squared equals 1. I'm going to subtract 1/16 from both sides. To do that, I'm going to rewrite 1 as 16 over 16. X squared equals 16 over 16 minus 1/16 equals 15 sixteenths. And then I take the square root. Now, technically it's plus or minus, but again, I know that because I'm in this quadrant, the sine was 1/4, that cosine there is positive. So I really don't have to worry about this. It's going to be the square root of 15 over 16, which is square root of 15. Oh man, I didn't put a 1 there. Square root of 15 divided by square root of 16 is 4. So square root of 15/4. So A is square root of 15, B is 4. So there's that one. Let me look for question 2. What are the vertical asymptotes of y equals 7 tan 0.4x? Let me make a new. Y equals 7 tangent of 0.4x. For a vertical asymptote of tangent and cotangent, it's always pi over 2 plus n pi, sometimes it's called k pi. And all I do, any kind of shift up or down, whatever this is, isn't going to affect it, because remember that vertical asymptotes are every horizontal are affected by period. So all I have to do is take what's inside the parentheses, the argument of tangent. A lot of times this is written as y equals a tangent b times x minus c plus d. I just have to take this part. B times x minus c equals pi over 2 plus n pi, and then solve for the x. So this is going to be 0.4x equals pi over 2 plus n pi. And all I have to do is divide both sides by 0.4. However, I noticed something on this one. Look at the answer choices. There's no decimal point in the bottom. So I'm going to rewrite 0.4 as 4 over 10, which I can also rewrite as 2 over 5, simplified x. So 4/10 equals 0.4, 2 over 5 equals pi over 2 plus n pi. And I noticed that there was no decimal numbers in any of the answer choices in the denominator, so it had been done with an integer fraction fraction rather than a decimal number. So I will multiply both sides by 5, divide both sides by 2. X equals 5/2 times pi over 2 plus 5/2 times n pi. And so this is 5 pi over 4 plus 5 pi over 2n, or 5n pi over 2, whatever. And that is answer choice 5/4. It's the first answer choice. See, 5 over 2 pi n. So it's the first answer choice. So that's how you find that. Anytime you're looking for vertical asymptotes for tangent, just set the argument, the b times x minus c, whatever you're taking the tangent of, equal to pi over 2 plus n pi. Now the next question is, what are the x-intercepts? So for x-intercepts, you do something different. And by the way, this z means n is an integer, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2. So it repeats. Okay, let me do this one. Whenever you're looking for the x-intercepts for tangent, all you need do is set the whole thing. Remember again, in general, it's going to be a tangent b times x minus c plus d, and you set that equal to pi over n pi. So the x-intercepts are n pi, and I'll prove that. Let me show you. Tangent x. Notice the x-intercepts are 0, pi, 2 pi. So 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, negative 1 pi. So I just set that n pi. N is an integer. And then I solve it. Now this one doesn't have a d, so it makes it very simple. But I'm going to do it. 7 tangent 0.4 x equals n pi. I'll divide both. Oh, I'm sorry, not equal to n pi. You said it equal to 0. Not equal to n. Why didn't you correct me on that? It said equal to 0. So I'll divide both sides by 7. Tangent of 0.4 x equals 0 divided by 7 is still 0. And now I take the arctangent of both sides, 0.4 x, because the arctangent of tangent is just whatever's inside parentheses equals arctan of 0. So arctangent of 0 equals pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. I'll prove it. Arctan 0 equals 0. What have I done wrong there? 0.4x equals, could it be pi then? Maybe it's supposed to be pi. I've done something wrong. Well, let me double check it. How to find arctan, how to find x-intercepts. I've forgotten something of tan function. Let's see what it says. I did something wrong. Finding x-intercepts, set y equals 0. Yeah. Solve for x by isolating the tangent term. Okay. It says set, hold on, to find the x-intercepts, set y equals 0. All right. So 0.4x equals 0, x equals 0. So that didn't work. What am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong here? All right, I'm going to go to AI. How to find x-intercepts. There's a mental block on me here. How to find x-intercepts of a transformed tangent function. How about that? something I'm doing wrong here, and I don't know what it is. Find the x-intercepts set. Okay, what about, let's say 7 tan 0.4x? Somewhere, what am I doing wrong? As soon as I see it, I'm going to go, oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay, 0. Oh, that's right, it repeats, yeah. So it is. Yeah, so it's 0.4x equals arc tan 0. And arc tan 0 is going to be on the unit circle 0, pi, 2 pi, so which equals n pi. I wasn't doing anything wrong, I just wasn't thinking on the right line. So 0.4x equals n pi. Boy, oh boy. And I'm going to rewrite 0.4 as 10 over 4 or 5 over 2, or 4 over 10 or 2 over 5. 2/5 x equals n pi. Multiply both sides by 2, divide both sides by 5. X equals 2 pi n over 5. And I think we will have that one somewhere in the answer choices. Got 5 pi n over 2. What have I done wrong? Oh, I multiplied by 2/5. I'm supposed to multiply by 5, divide by 2. So x equals 5 pi n. Why aren't you correcting me when I make mistakes? Over 2. 5 pi n over 2, which is 5 pi n over 2. Whatever, that answer choice. All right, we got it. There's that one. All right, here's the next one, question 4. And what does it ask for? Question 4, the graph shown above can be written as this. All right, so I'm going to put this in my image, and then I'll look at the graph in the PDF so I can do this. Now, notice they have C, but usually that's called, a lot of people call that D. It's A, trig, little b, x minus c plus d. So what this question is calling C is the shift up or down. So let me see. The shift up or down. Remember, this is sine or cosine. It's not tangent. So usually it starts at 0. So I have to find the midline. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the midline is 2. So this is going to be, C is 2. This is going to be plus, I'll give it more room, plus 2. And now I have to find the b, and I find the b by looking at the period. Remember, b equals 2 pi over period, or period equals 2 pi over b. And that's for sine and cosine. For tangent, it's pi over p. b is pi over p, or pi over b, but this is clearly not tangent. That's sine or cosine, so it's 2 pi. So I need 2 pi over the period. The period is, well, I can kind of see here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The period is 6, and I can look at this one too. From -5 to 7, the ones they actually give us, it's 12, but that's 2 periods. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the period is 6, so b equals 2 pi over 6, which equals pi over 3. So this is going to be pi over 3. And they say x minus 1. So I know it looks like that. And then the trig is, well, let's see. X minus 1 means it shifted 1 to the right. So 1 to the right, it starts at the bottom. Well, that would be negative cosine. Cosine starts at the top and then returns to the top in one period. Negative cosine starts at the lowest value and returns to the lowest value. So it's going to be negative cosine. Pi over 3, x minus 1 plus 2. I think I have everything. This is 2, plus or minus. Oh, no, I don't have the a part. Man, I didn't even leave room. I didn't even leave room for it. It's negative something times cosine. Well, remember, sine and cosine go up one from the middle, down one from the midline or middle. So this one, and then that's what the A is. How far up and down does it go from the midline? If it goes up one and up, down one, it's just A is 1. But this one goes up 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2, 3. So this is 3. Boy, oh boy. So C is 2, plus or minus is minus. A is 3. The trig is cosine. I was about to write tangent. And the B part is pi over 3. Now, I don't get all that selection when I'm looking at this on paper, but that's what it is for the question. All right, here's the next one. Which of the following is a correct graph of y equals 2 minus 3? Cosine 2 pi over 5 times x minus 1. So let me look at this first, and I'm going to go like this. And who knows, sometimes when you're trying to figure out which graph is which, you're going to go by the shift up or down, and then the shift left or right. But let me look here. The shift is up 2, so the midline is 2, and the amplitude is 3. So let me check these answer choices. The midline is 2, the amplitude is 3. The midline is, they're all, see, it goes from 5 to negative 1, 5 to negative 1, 5 to negative 1, 5 to negative 1, 5. So that doesn't help me. So now I'm going to look at, I've already looked at the amplitude. I'm going to look at the shift, the left to right shift, and it's 1 to the left, 1 to the right rather, and it's cosine, and it's minus 3 cosine, so it's got to be at the lowest point at 1. So let me check. This is not at the first one's not the lowest point at 1. The second one is, the third one is not, the fourth one is, the fifth one is not, the sixth one is not. That's 1.5. So it's either the first one, the second one, or the fourth one. Now I have to figure out which is which. And how do I do that? Well, I guess I'm going to use the period. So I know it's either the second one. I don't want to really write on this, but I guess I will. It's either this one or this one, because it's got to be at negative 1 when x equals 1. It's shifted 1 to the right. So now look at the period. The period equals 2 pi over b over 2 pi over 5, which is equal to 2 pi over 1 times, I flip the fraction, 5 over 2 pi, which is equal to 5. The 2 pi's cancel out. So the period is 5. Let me check between these two. Which one has a period of 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just the distance between peaks. So it's that one. It's the first, second, third, fourth. The fourth one. And I just look at the different elements until I find that. All right, that's question 5. I'm doing 10 of these. Determine the b value of the function y equals 2 cosine b, x minus 2 minus 1, that creates the graph below. Well, I really don't have to worry about anything except the period, because remember, for cosine and sine, period equals 2 pi over b. So I just need to find the period. I really can't tell up here because I don't know what those coordinates are. But I do know coordinates down here. I know it's -3, -3, and 7, 3. That's a difference of 10. So it travels, x changes by 10 in 1, 2, 3 periods. So that's the period. A change of 10 every 3 periods, 10 thirds. The period is 10 thirds. So I should have written b as 2 pi over p. That's what I actually want to find, which is equal to 2 pi over 10 thirds, because a period is 10 thirds. It goes, the x changes by 10 every 3 periods. So 10 thirds is 1 period, which is equal to 2 pi over 1 times 3 over 10. I flip the fraction and multiply them, and 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 10 5 times, equals 3 pi over 5. And 3 pi over 5. There's the answer choice. All right, question 7. Given this function, select the appropriate answers. Now this is great because notice, well, I'll show you in a second. I got a little bit extra on the next page. So I've got to kind of do this in 2 parts. Nothing's ever made easy. Not for me. Okay, a little bit extra on the next page. And let me do this. Oh boy. Oh boy. Bip. Okay, let me check it out. This shift is the, if I remember correctly, this is the horizontal shift. So I know the horizontal shift has a shift. It's right because it's opposite of sine. Negative means right of 1 unit. I've got that part. The period wavelength. Well, period equals 2 pi over b. When it's, this is d plus or minus a trig b times x minus c. So period is 2 pi over b, so 2 pi over 2/3. I multiply by, I flip and multiply times 3 halves. 2's cancel, this is 3 pi. So the period is 3 pi. The graph has been vertically stretched. That means up and down. What was the thing again? 4. 4 units. That's the vertical stretch, is the A. And shift it up. This would be up. Up 3 units. Like I said, if I'm remembering correctly, this was the horizontal shift, this is the vertical shift. But if this was the vertical shift, then that's where you'd put up 3, and down here is where you'd put right 1. The graph has a maximum value of, well, it's 3 up. The normal midline is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. And then it goes 4 up from there. So 4 plus 3 is 7. And 4 down from there is -1. So it has a maximum value of 7 and a minimum of -1. And I think that's it for that one. We're trying. We're really trying to get this. All right. Question 8. I've only got 2 more after this. Question 8. Question 8. Just question 8. Okay. So remember, for arc cosine, the range is like this. It's positive here and negative here. I always write this cast. So this is 2/3. I'm in the first quadrant. And sine in the first quadrant is positive. So my answer is going to be positive. And so 2 ways I can do it. I can do the cosine squared plus sine squared, I don't know what it is, equals 1. And then 2/3 squared is 4/9 plus x squared equals 1. I will subtract 4/9 from both sides. I will rewrite 1 as 9/9. 9/9 minus 4/9 equals 5/9. Take the square root. X equals plus or minus square root, but that plus or minus doesn't matter because I know I'm in positive territory. Square root of 5 is just square root of 5. Square root of 9 is 3, so square root of 5 over 3. The other way to do it is I could draw a little triangle, and I can make some angle theta. I'll make that one theta. The cosine of theta is 2/3 adjacent over hypotenuse. So now I need to find the opposite, because then I can find the sine of that angle. So 2 squared plus x squared equals 3 squared. 4 plus x equals 9. And I can put x equals 9 minus 4 is 5, or x squared. And that is x equals plus or minus, but I'm in plus territory. So x equals square root of 5. So square root of 5. And now I can find the sine of theta. Opposite over hypotenuse, square root of 5/3. So A is square root of 5, and B is 3. That's it. Question 9. This one has a little bit of a trick to it. Just a little bit, just a little bit. This one I can do on the unit circle. So sine is negative square root of 3 over 2. So what quadrant am I in? Remember, arc sine goes from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Arc cosine goes from 0 to pi. So it's negative. So remember, Sine is negative here and positive here. So I'm in this quadrant. So I'm going to be negatives. I need a negative answer. This is negative. And now where is sine? Now I don't have to worry about the SIGN anymore. Where is the sine of x, sine of some angle, square root of 3 over 2? Well, if you know your unit circle, it's going to be pi over 3. Pi over 3. And I know it's negative because of this, based on the range of arc sine. So it's negative pi over 3. And so this would be negative. And then it says a pi, so 1 pi over 3. Some people would calculate this as 5, well, let's see, 2 pi is 6 pi over 3. Yeah, 5 pi over 3. But there is, I don't think in this selection you can put 5 pi over 3, but even if you can, that would be wrong. It would be negative pi over 3. Okay, question 10, match each function. Well, this one you just have to know what they look like, And so let me write these in here. Arc sine of x. Notice that's the one that goes from down to up. Arc cosine is going to go from up to down. You just have to know what these look like, know what your parent function. So down to up is arc sine. Down to up, so arc sine is B. Arc cosine is C, and then tangent looks like a sideways X, arc tangent. I'll show you that. Looks like a sideways S, or it looks like an S that's been elongated, not a sideways S. It is sideways, so that's A. So this is B, C, A. So that's question 1 to 10 on this pre-calculus on-ramps review.